The year was 1999. I had just bought a brand new palatial home in Chelsea, a 750 square foot apartment. I was the third person in the building to move into this brand new complex, and it was February. It was very cold outside. When I had moved to New York, I had come from Los Angeles. I had a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment in Santa Monica. I came with 250 boxes and furniture. What in the world am I going to do with all of this stuff that is now shoved into this apartment? I decided I had to have a strategy. And that strategy was to take the materials that I have, unpack them, put them in the apartment, and move the boxes into the hallway. After all, I'm only the third person in the building. There's really no one who's going to complain about the stuff in the hallway. As I start to unpack, it's getting hotter and hotter. Because anybody out there live in a New York City apartment? Well, if you ever have, you know, if it's 5 degrees outside, it's 150 degrees inside. It's really hot. I can't get to the windows, there's too many boxes. I haven't bought an air conditioner. So I decide that I'm going to unpack naked. After all, it's hot. So as I continue, I start taking boxes and putting them outside, and then taking more boxes and putting them outside, and then all of a sudden I hear bang, the door closes. It's okay. Click. 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 Oh my goodness. It is now. Tim, you're evaluating. Click. 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 The door is locked. I'm naked. I'm outside. And I have no way to get in. So I think, what am I going to do? When I was in college and I had 1 or 2 more drinks than I probably should have, I used to be able to key my room with a credit card. I don't have a credit card, obviously, but I do have lots of packing material, lots of plastic. So I go in and I'm sitting there trying to, excuse me, I am naked. And I continue to open the door, try to get in. It doesn't work. So much for that $100,000 private education my parents paid for. What am I going to do? My cell phone. Of course, my cell phone. It's 1999. I don't own a cell phone. So what am I going to do? Now I think about those old Depression-era ads where a guy would be wearing a pickle barrel because he had to sell all his clothes. I don't have a pickle barrel, but I have cardboard boxes. So I find one that fits fairly well, and it's Chelsea after all. I put it on, and I sneak downstairs, hoping to find someone that's actually in the building. There's a problem. The door is here, the buzzers are here. I have to be creative. So I'm gonna do this, put my foot in, and get to the buzzer, and I start at the top. 12. Bzz, 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 bzz. Finally, 1B, I hear, hello. It's my Japanese neighbors who had just moved in, an artist and his wife, Mr. and Mrs. Otani. Mr. and Mrs. Otani, this is Michael Sachs. Why are you naked? I knew I should have never bought that surveillance system. Why are you naked? Why are you naked, man? For Mr. and Mrs. Otani. Boom. They hang up. I'm naked. It's February, and I'm out in public. You naked! We call police! Mr. and Mrs. Otani, you naked! Please call a super. Please call Sabro. Silence. You know Sabro? Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Otani, please call the super Sabro. Why are you naked? It's a long struggle. Please call the super and let me in. Please. Silence. Okay, we call super. Yes! The door slammed, I'm outside, naked, and walked out of the building. We call super, we call police, you stay away from us, you crazy man. Mr. Otani, I locked myself out of the building, please, it's freezing out here. I hear a very rude gesture in Japanese, and the door buzzes, I jump out, the box stays behind, but I don't care. I run back into the room, pull up another box, and wait for Sabro. What is an inevitable amount of time, I hear ding, ding. Finally, Sabro walks in. He looks at me and says, "Hello, Mr. Sachs." Opens the door and says, "You may want to get those locks changed. As you know, it will lock behind you." He doesn't say a word about the fact that I'm naked in the hallway. I say, "Thank you, Sabro," and walk into my room. 6 weeks later, I am elected the president of the condo board. Mr. and Mrs. Otani walk up to me, put their hands around me, say, "We like naked president." As my face returns to its natural color, I walk over to Sabro, put my hands around him and say, "Sabro, when you came up to my room, you didn't say a word about me being naked. And I want to thank you so much about helping me out, but why didn't you say anything?" And he looks at me with not so much as a supercilious tear in his eyes and says, "Mr. Sachs, I have been a super in Chelsea for over 25 years. When I find only one naked person in the hallway, it's a good evening."